What is going down, Sourdough Squad? How are we doing today on this beautiful Thursday? We're doing all right. Are we doing good? Hope you guys are having a phenomenal day. Obviously, OTAs continue, but OTAs are actually closed to media members today. From my understanding, this was pre-planned, so you know, nothing out of the norm here. Um, and to be honest, I'm not sure if the media gets any more access to OTAs. It does kind of feel like a sense of, and again, I don't know. I don't know the schedule. I don't know how it works, but it does seem a little bit quieter than normal. But hey, maybe that's a good thing. Maybe that's a good thing, specifically right now at this current time. But you know the vibes. If you're vibing with the squad, drop a SDS in the chat. Smash that like button if you haven't already. RIP to an absolute legend, Ray Liotta, man. Ah, gosh, countless movies that this man has been in. It's a shame. Absolute shame to see one of the good ones go. It's always terrible to see that, man. Ray was a beast and everything that he did. What's up to everyone? Let's go. Hop in here. What's good, Hendrix? Jesus. Pepe. Checking in from Mexico. What's good, Stephanie? Joey says media only gets 1 day during OTAs. Only 1 day. It was quite the eventful day. 100%. But shout out all the SDS. We see you guys. We see you guys. Let's go. Today, we don't got like a ton to talk about. Probably not going to be an ultra long live. Nothing like that. So if you guys do have any questions, feel free to drop them into the chat. We'll talk about it. We'll leave it kind of fluid today in regards to what we want to talk about, things like that. We got a question right off the bat. Jason says, Brad, do you think we will sign Tart? We need him best tackler in the game. Ooh, that is quite high praise for Kwaski. To be honest, Kwaski had a really good season last year when he was healthy. I think back to, again, the game-saving play that he had against Green Bay. I go back to the Atlanta Falcons game where he essentially had that like goal line stop all by himself, like consecutive plays in a row. Kwaski's been good. I think Kwaski's just, he's suffered with health a lot of his career. As we know, health is wealth. It does feel like the San Francisco 49ers feel pretty comfortable with Talanoa Hufanga. Obviously, we heard Talanoa took starting reps next to good old Jimmy Ward. So that was surprising. I was halfway expecting to see George Odom maybe run out there just because he got paid a lot, a decent amount. So halfway was expecting that. But Talanoa Hufanga, baby, might be time to start up the hype train. I'm just saying, I think they love the kid inside that locker room. Obviously, I think there was a little, if you kind of go back to last season, there's a little push, I think, to get Talanoa more playing time. And I think they really like him inside that building. I've talked about Talanoa a couple times. I think, a lot of people will critique him on potentially his long speed. And when we talk about long speed, the ability to cover, on the back end when you are a safety, you're the last line of defense. It's on you. There's no one else coming to save you when you're the safety. And those are ample critiques, I think. But on top of that, I think what Talanoa will benefit from largely this year is that it's just his second year. I think, I've talked about it when I reference back to training camp. The day that they put him into the starting lineup, kind of a couple days into padded practice, he took over kind of the starting role. Kwaski was out, Tavon Wilson was out, and Talanoa stepped in, and Talanoa made instant impact. This is practice, all right? Practice. We're talking about practice? Yeah, we're talking about practice. When he was at practice, uh, I mean, instantly jumped out. And it was a day too where I was like, you know what? I'm gonna watch Talanoa specifically in a team period. And I watched him, and he's just very smart, very cerebral, always putting himself in position to make plays. I think his sideline to sideline makes him look quicker, things like that. I would only imagine with another year in the system, more comfortability, more reliability on instinct, he will actually move faster. So I know people are concerned about the speed element and the long speed. I don't think anyone's worried about the short area quickness. His lateral, his sideline to sideline is pretty good. I like it. It's just the long speed that is under the microscope at the time. So I don't know if the 49ers will actually re sign Tart. I would imagine Tart will sign somewhere else. I think the 49ers obviously would have the opportunity to do so. But I don't know. I don't know if it's going to happen. But hey, Tart's been pretty good. But I don't know if he's going to be back with the 49ers. That window might have been closed down. What's good, Justin, director of the Sourdough Scouts, president of the Jordan Mason Hive? We see you. Shout out all the SDS. We see all the homies in here. What's up, Big Papa? Hello, hello. So, a little birdie, a little birdie hit me up last night in the DM, and the little birdie was like, "I think Deebo Samuel is on his way to the Bay," and I was like, "Oh, interesting. Uh, could you please elaborate more?" And they continue to say, "Well, my buddy was at the airport. It's one of those things. My buddy was at the airport, and he saw Debo get onto a plane headed for the Bay. And so we posted it last night. Got a little pushback per usual. Nothing out of the norm. Uh, but as we have come to find out, Debo Samuel is in fact in the Bay Area. This was the photo that my guy sent me last night of Debo Samuel in the airport. Again, yeah, we're watching Debo. Debo, if you're watching this, we're watching. We want to see. What are you doing? What are you up to these days? What do you like to eat? What are your favorite snacks? We're intrigued of what is going on with Debo Samuel. I get it. It's probably annoying for him, but we want to know. Ever since you requested a trade and it became public, we would like to know, has that bridge been mended? Are you coming back to the Bay Area to be a part of OTAs? Maybe have conversations with the San Francisco 49ers, maybe work towards that contract extension, or going to the Warriors game. We going to the Warriors game? Maybe. Could be going to the Warriors game. He stopped by Sego Studio. Shout out the homies. Uh, from my understanding, I don't know them ultra well. Today was my first kind of introduction to them, but from what I've gathered, it looks like they had like a just dope, like clothing line designers kind of situation going on. And you got Debo Samuel showing up there, of course, headquartered in the Bay Area, which again connects the dots of Debo Samuel getting on a plane, going to San Jose, and now landing in the Bay. And we have some actual reference of him being in the Bay Area. So again, what does that mean? No idea. Does that mean he's actually actively, with the 49ers having discussions, meetings? I don't know. Are they hashing things? Who knows? Someone had mentioned, I think, on a previous post or a post that I had made, they're like, oh, well, he lives in the Bay. No, he doesn't. He does not live in the Bay. He lives in the Bay when he's out here for work. He does not live in the Bay. Um, from everything that I've gathered of Deebo Samuel, he does not live in the Bay Area. So that's not why he's here. He's not in the Bay because he's going back home. This is his job location. So just interesting. Again, could be nothing. We could pop up at the Warriors game tonight. If we see Deebo at the Warriors game, I don't think any of us are going to be surprised. Um, in fact, it's halfway expected that he's going to be at the Deebo game, at the Warriors game. Again, the Warriors have an opportunity to move forward to the finals if they're able to beat the Mavs tonight, which we hope is going to happen as a Warriors fan. Uh, Not the best game that happened last week, but again, we do remember Deebo was there. Not only was he there, but he got the jersey from Steph Curry. So maybe the little Debo swag rubbed off on the Warriors. Maybe. I don't know. We'll see. We will see. Who's gonna win tonight? Mavs, Dubs. Drop it in the chat. I gotta see something. I gotta see I gotta see what the SDS is vibing like basketball wise. I know it's a football channel. I know it's 49ers. I just want to see. Are we liking the Dubs, or are we anti-Dubs, anti-Steph Curry? I want to see. Drop it in the chat. What are you feeling? Who's it gonna be? I want to see. Nick says Dubs, baby, all day. Ooh, Mack. I will say this, Mack. I will say this. Living in the Bay Area, I respect anyone who's a Cavs fan. Or not a Cavs, excuse me. Kings fan. I don't respect Cavs fans. Real ones, no. If you are a Kings fan in a predominantly Warriors market, even like in Sacramento, like, come on, this is Dubs, baby. And unfortunately, the Kings never win, which is why he says sadly. But again, that's why I have respect. Like respect, man. Like respect for rocking with the Sacramento Kings. I'm sure it's not easy, especially with the Dubs being in your backyard. It's probably how Raider fans felt when the 49ers and Raiders were in the Bay Area. You got the 49ers, the shiny team that does everything just much better than the Raiders. And then you just had the Raiders over there being the Raiders, being stinky, not winning, drafting Jamarcus Russell, and doing those types of things. I can imagine it's probably a little bit similar dynamic in that regard. So, but I do have respect. We tip our cap to Kings fans because, again, like I said, it's it's a hard area to be a Kings fan, man. Oh, come on, Joseph. Please tell me you're a Lakers fan, though, and not a. And I'll say this about Lakers fans: I don't like the Lakers, but please tell me you're a Lakers fan and not a LeBron apologist. Please, please, don't tell me you're recently a Lakers fan. Please don't say that. Curry finishes off the Mavs. Hendricks says Mavs in 7. That would be awful. But we'll see, man. We got Warriors, all that good stuff. So I agree with this one. And I agree with this one. Hashtag beat LA always. Hashtag BLA always. But anyways, like we were talking about, Deebo Samuel's back in the Bay Area. Could be 49ers related. Could be absolutely nothing. Could literally just be here for completely different reasons. So again, we can continue to speculate. Again, it's Deebo Samuel watch. He probably doesn't like it. It's probably really annoying that we're on his case and we're watching it all. But hey, that's what happens when you scrub your IG and request a trade from the team that you're on. You get watched like a hawk, and we're trying to figure out what the heck is going on. Are you coming back? Are you going? You staying? You getting paid? What's the deal, Debo? We just want to know. We just want to know. That's it. No harm, no harm, no foul. All right. So we'll continue to see what's going on there. But like I said, Debo's back in the Bay. All that good stuff. We got a little video. We got Leon O'Neal Jr. right there. Uh, who's 6? Ray right there. Elijah Hasty. You got Jawan. You got Teray. I forget who's is that 17? 83 is that Turner. I'm still learning some of these new guys. Still learning some of these new guys. But this is from the 49ers. They put this together. Shout out the 49ers for dropping content. Because Lord knows we need it. Lord knows we need all the content right now. So there's Omenahue, number 94. I'm excited for Omenahue. And let's transition that into our next topic. Who are you excited for? B-Mac said who's wearing number 3. That's Ray McLeod. Potential wide back replacement. Special teams ace, potentially. So who are you excited to see this year? I actually put up a poll on YouTube. Let's check out the poll. Again, I can't list a ton of answers. I think we all know who's probably going to take over the number 1 spot for who we want to see this year. Like just players that we have a vested interest in. We just want to see. Obviously, you can see who's storming the gates right now on this particular poll that I put up on YouTube. You have Trey Lance just running away. 59%. So far, we have 13,000 votes on this poll. We have 13,000 votes on this poll. 59 go to Trey Lance. So 59% have gone to Trey Lance. 27% say Deebo Samuel. 9% Nick Bosa. What the comments looking like? What are the comments looking like? Oh, come on, man. Are we still on this? Are we like, is this a troll? Do people still feel this way? I don't get the sense that Jimmy Garoppolo is coming back. I just don't. Like, I don't see a world that exists, whether Trey is ready or not. I don't see a world where Jimmy Garoppolo comes back again, regardless of the notion at hand. I just don't see it. I just don't see it. I don't see it. They know it's over. They know it's over. Surgery complicated everything. I don't know why we keep having to talk about this. I think Kyle, yet again, just like he did at the owners meeting, talked about how he's ready. He's ready to move on. It's time. It's time to move on. It's time to move on from that experiment. Oh, it's not an experiment. It's just time to move on. So we'll see, man. Wheel season. We'll see. Poppy said start the season already. Are you guys ready for the next 2 months? Guys, we're gonna go 2 months. 2 months without football. Are you ready for that? I don't know if I'm ready for that. I don't know if I'm ready for that. I don't know. 2 months, no football, just people talking about things. Oh, it's been rough already, but we had in between, we had the combine, we had the senior bowl, we had the draft, we've had a little OTA action. Still been tough. Now we're gonna go 2 months. What kind of stories are we gonna hear out of OTAs? What kind of anonymous source? Oh, that arm fitness. From what I heard from OTAs, is that arm fitness already showing signs of fatigue? Like what else? Like what are we gonna be talking about, man? Like I'm scared. I'm terrified. Yo, SDS, we gotta stick together, baby. Like we gotta stick together. Like it's gonna be rough. It is going to be rough. I'm still going to try to do daily content, but we're going to see what that looks like. We'll get creative with it. The positive thing about heading into the dead period, kind of the like this is the real off season. Like in about a week, we hit the real off season, and when we hit that real off season, we'll get a little bit more creative. We'll start developing more conscious topics and things like that. We're more reactive right now. We're kind of reacting to things as they come. And then we get on and we talk about, oh, this is what happened today, this, that, and the other thing. We'll definitely get more defined moving forward. Yes, call ins. So I'm waiting for call ins for the dead period. So we'll get more specific with the content once the dead period hits to keep it spicy. But hey, we gotta stick together, baby. It's gonna be a wild 2 months. Just dry. It's gonna be so wild. But I mean, it's been entertaining, stressful. Obviously, we know what's going on right now. So it's been a wild ride. It's been absolutely a wild ride up until this point. Just crazy. Just crazy. Um, but let's see. What else did I want? I'll talk about something else, but I forgot. Big time squirrel. Squirrel. Big time squirrel. Anyways, back on track. What else do we want to talk about? What else do we want to talk about? Drop some comments. Drop some questions. What do you want to talk about? This is oh hell no. Mike says any beard shave bets. I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. So I'll tell you why I can't do it. Like I got a 9.5-year-old. I got just turned 8 and a almost 3-year-old. They've never seen my face without a beard. I would terrify not only my children, but probably myself and my wife. Like it would probably like set off alarms if I took down the ginger. I don't know, man. That would be I don't know if any bet would be worth that. I mean, the beard's even in the logo. The beard's even in the logo. So I don't know if we could do that, but I'll take bets. Well, we did a bet we did a bet last year. I forget what the bet was, and we had the payment squared away even in the chat. It was a pretty epic bet. I forget exactly what it was, but we had a dope bet take place live on the show in the chat. It was pretty legendary. Definitely pretty legendary. Uh, I've never seen the actual Duck Dynasty show, but I know what they look like. Luke Combe vibes, right? Eddie G says starting center if Alex Mack retires. Oh, I think Pro Football Talk. I glanced at it. I actually didn't even really take too much of a look at it, so I don't want to. I don't want to totally speak out of turn, so I'm going to pull it up. We can look at it together. I believe uh, Mike Florio from Pro Football Talk put out a article earlier today, kind of hinting at that it is looking more increasingly like Alex Mack will retire. I would like to find it so we can actually have a real conversation about it. But to be honest, I'm not going to be surprised. I'm not going to be specific in some tells, but I saw some tells in the particular press conferences from the other day when they were talking about Alex Mack. I saw a couple things just from a body language standpoint where I was like, maybe Alex Mack really is retiring. Maybe he really is retiring. So again, you guys know me, big body language guy. Uh, Pick up on that type of stuff. But you got again from I think Mike Florio here. It's looking more and more clear that 49ers center Alex Mack will retire. The 49ers are letting Mack be the one to officially say it. Let's see. Is there anything that he really does say? Again, this was the interesting comment from Kyle that he made. He said, "I'm going to leave that up to Alex Mack, but I've got a pretty good idea. I think you guys too, or you guys do too. So I don't have a good idea. I don't know what the hell's going on. So I don't really know what the heck is going on here. So I don't know. I would imagine Alex Mack is probably retiring. But again, if he does retire, that will likely clear some money. Uh, Once Jimmy gets moved, that will clear some money. So the 49ers could theoretically go here. For whatever reason, JC Treader remains unsigned. So I don't know why that is. But hey, we've talked about it before. Maybe there's some type of situation in play where maybe uh Kyle Shanahan has JC Treader on speed dial and they've had conversations like, hey, we're gonna have money clear up. It's just not clearing up at the timing that we would hope for. It's just not happening in the time frame that we would like it to be happening. So again, if JC Treader like somehow like swoops in and replaces Alex Mack, that would make the sting less hurtful. I'm a big fan of Mack. I've talked about it before. Mack's a Cal guy. I've been I've been a Cal guy. He played when I was playing. And he was someone that I looked up to when he was at Cal, someone that I like one of the first like offensive linemen that I like really became a fan of in my offensive line journey. So I love Alex, man. I don't want Alex Mack to go anywhere. And he's a huge reason why the 49ers have been successful on offense this past season. So I don't want to see that. But JC Treader becomes an option that looks pretty nice. Again, we got some just grades from PFF. Take it for what it's worth. 78.7 overall grade, pass blocking grade, looking kind of nice. 83.7 with the run blocking grade of 74.8. Only allowed one sack last year, five penalties in over 1,000 snaps. So really not that bad at all for what he was able to do. So again, if the 49ers were able to somehow make this transition, I would feel much better about the Alex Mack situation. But if they don't make this transition, I would. I don't. I like I like Jake. So I want to preface by saying that, like, I like Jake Brendel. Um, but yeah, I mean, he really didn't play at all last year. Um, but I don't know. I don't know if I'd feel like ultra confident. I think for me to feel ultra confident with Jake is I got to see more. Again, there was nothing really that stood out to me at training camp last year where I was like, "Ooh, Jake is potential starting quality." He feels like a quality backup or a quality depth guy. He could develop more if given the opportunity. Again, obviously getting him in there, seeing what he's capable of, that would make me feel better in regards to his ability to take over the starting role. It does. He was the starter with no Trent, no Brunskill, no McGlinchey, no Lake, and no Mack. So he was the starter. In the team periods at OTAs, open to the media. So we'll see. Um, like I've talked about it before, I think I would prefer. Uh, I really would prefer Brunskill to be center in this situation. I think Aaron Banks from we heard from the offensive line coach yesterday. I think they are really pushing to get Aaron Banks going. Um, we understand what the 49ers gave up to get Aaron Banks. They spent a high draft pick. When you spend a high draft pick, kind of like an early to mid second round draft pick on an offensive lineman, on an interior offensive lineman, that's a high draft pick. I've taught again, you guys. It's like I'll just constantly repeating myself, but I can find you quality linemen in the third, fourth, fifth round. Happens like clockwork every single year. What did the 49ers do this year? They draft Spencer Burford in the fourth. They go get Zakel in the sixth. Both of those guys could be potential starters for the 49ers offensive line. So uh, the fact that they spent that second round draft pick on Aaron Banks, who did not contribute in a year where a team was Super Bowl ready, that's a big move. They could have went Azeez Ojulari. They could have went Trevon Moehrig, safety. Both guys started last year. Both guys made big impacts on the team they played for. So they opted for a guy who didn't have an impact. Obviously, we look at the situation. It did feel like it was either he had a potential to start over Brunskill or just be the guy in waiting for Laken Tomlinson to leave. So, but he didn't get on the field, and he didn't look great in training camp. He got hurt in preseason, so it was definitely a red shirt year for Aaron Banks. There's not going to be any data. He played 5 snaps against the Jacksonville Jags and clearly wasn't graded out too particularly well. Again, he's a top 50 draft pick. So that's going to be an expectation that's placed on him and the organization to get some value out of him. But everything that we're hearing is good so far. So that makes me feel good. We saw a couple clips of him doing the bag drills. Jack Hammer posted to his YouTube page. Shout out Jack Hammer for that content because that got me hyped when that stuff came out. And Aaron Banks looked pretty good. He was exploding off the ball. You could see the power. Him and Colton McKivitz were working really well in tandem. Um, didn't look bad. Didn't look bad. Uh, we did have to correct Jalen Moore live on stream. We had a mistake, coaching point, and then he was able to execute it. So just like we've talked about for Jalen Moore shifting to right guard, it's not a foregone conclusion that Jalen Moore is just going to snap into shape. It is going to take him time. It is going to take him reps. Again, what we witnessed based on Jack Hammer's clip of them working through their double to backer drills, he did the double to backer drills wrong. And for me, as a former offensive lineman, when I see that, that tells me that this guy isn't used to that. He's not used to that interior double to backer. The interior double to backer is a little bit different. You got to really dig out the guy who's in front of you, meet at the point of attack, keep your eyes up, and look for the flowing linebacker. And you have to be able to either peel off the block or take over the block based on where the linebacker goes. So you could, it's practice. All right. It's practice. It happens. But you could see just like it was like already an instant tell that he's inexperienced at playing on the interior. So we're going to see what happens with Jalen Moore. Again, I'm going to be locked on Aaron Banks, who the center is, who the right guard is, all of it. I'm very excited to see who that looks like. But current fantasy online, so like on the roster or like out of anyone. Because if it's out of anyone, Trent Williams, left tackle. Geez, what's his name? Quentin Nelson, Colts left guard, would be my left guard. Center. Ooh, who do I want for center? I feel like I need to see. Feel like I need to see the list in front of me, just so I could see it. Do we have like a player rankings? No, we don't. We don't have that. I'm trying to think of maybe a center that I would like. Yeah, I would need a list in front of me. Oh, Ryan Jensen would actually be a good center. He would actually be a pretty damn good center. But these are only free agent guys. So I would need a list actually, to be honest. So we'll see. But if it was up to me for the 49ers offensive line, it would be Trent Williams, Aaron Banks, maybe Daniel Brunskill at center. Again, I've talked about it. I want a competent center, but we'll see. Jake Brendel's just a bit unproven in my eyes. But you could then leave that right guard position open for Jalen Moore, Burford, Zakel, multiple Colton McKivitz even. And then right tackle, I'm still rocking with McGlinchey. Still rocking with McGlinchey. So it'll be interesting to see, of course, what the offensive line looks like. It'll be something that we continue to monitor like crazy. But we'll see, man. We will see. My offensive line would be athletes. That's the biggest thing. I've fantasized about building an offensive line of just athletes, of guys who can move, have strength, have flexibility, good feet, strong at the point of attack. If you get me this offensive line of man meat, like a bunch of Trent Williams types, guys that are huge but are dominant and can move, Quentin Nelson, and you just get me this, like you give me Bakhtiari as a right tackle. You just get me this offensive line that can move and do really well. Oh, we're doing all kinds of stuff. You won't be able to get a sack on us. You won't be able to stuff the gaps. It's over. I would love it. Good questions though. Don't get me ready. No, I could never do that. Never. I can't even bend over to pick something up. My back is so messed up. My back is so jacked, man. Probably, and I think it's from playing football. From playing football, from overlifting. Don't overlift. We got any young athletes in here? Do not overlift just because you can. Terrible idea. Terrible idea. Don't ever do it. Just don't. Trust me. You're a junior, senior in high school, and you're getting all excited because you can lift a bunch of weight. Don't do it just because you can. I promise you, you'll regret it. Please don't. Please don't. Ooh, ooh. This is a spicy question. How are the kickers doing? I talked about this. I've talked about this. I haven't been the biggest Robbie Gould fan. I haven't. I didn't like the holdout. I didn't like what we paid him. That whole situation, like he wanted to go back home to be with his family, and the 49ers were like, no, you're not going back home. The 49ers were like, no. Like it felt like the Bears wanted him back. Uh and like it felt like it could have been like a really amicable, like, all right, just go to the Bears. It is what it is. It's okay. We'll get another kicker. Uh, and they were like, nah. 49ers like, nah, you're not going back home to your family. I forget who said it. I think it was a beat reporter. I think it was an actual beat reporter for the 49ers, and they referenced Robbie Gould's deal because we know Robbie got a lot of money. I think his contract was almost fully guaranteed, if not fully guaranteed. They called it the Robbie Gould tax. And they called it the Robbie Gould tax because it was a tax to keep him away from his family. And I was like, "Ooh," I was like, "That's kind of spicy." 49ers had to overpay Robbie Gould to keep the man away from his family. That's like, damn, that's cold blooded. That's cold blooded. But I will say, shout out Robbie, man. He made some clutch kicks down the stretch there. That kick against Green Bay, in the elements, Robbie didn't miss when we needed him. So that bought him some leash with me. Again, I didn't like the contract that he got. I didn't like the situation surrounding it. I didn't like it. And when they signed him, I was like, oh, it's like gross. Like just go get a undrafted free agent guy, man, and just cycle him out until you find the next guy, the next starter for 10 years. Um, but I've warmed up to Robbie. I've warmed up to Robbie. Tabor Pepper. When is the Tabor Pepper best long snapper in the NFL talk going to kick up, huh? Who's going to drive that hype train? I don't hear nothing. I see all this talk about Kinlaw, about Deebo, about George, about Trey, about Jimmy. Where's the Tabor Pepper hype at, man? All pro Tabor Pepper? Hey, long snappers are people too. Long snappers are people too. Don't get it twisted. Don't get it twisted. Uh who? Mitch Wish? Mitch Wish, I think, is due for contract extension here coming up. I think this is a contract season for Mitch Wish. So we'll see. I feel pretty good. I'm not going to lie, man. I feel good about special teams this year. I do. And, we had extensive special teams conversations on this channel last year. And you guys know why. I think it was like that Seattle game, week 13, just pitiful special teams. That they scored a touchdown on a fake punt that ended up like being the ultimate difference in the game, like just disgusting, like not special teams play last year. And so we talked about it, and so I think Hightower was a fall guy in a sense. Hightower had been with the guys for a while. I think you could theoretically, maybe pinpoint Hightower was a bit of a fall guy because I talk about it all the time, man. If you don't got depth, you don't got special teams. And the 49ers had no depth. which means they had no special teams. Everyone that was on teams was off the streets, just randoms, like just complete randos playing on special teams. Because at a certain point, you had Marcel Harris starting at linebacker. That means he's not playing special teams. That you had Josh Norman starting at cornerback. That means he's not playing special teams. You had Dante Johnson starting at safety. That means he's not playing special teams. When you have injuries and you don't have the depth behind it, your special teams is the first to take the hit because the guys that are supposed to be there to play teams bump up, and then you have to be like, well, who's going to play teams? And they're signing guys off the street. Kerryon Johnson, Darquez Denard, Kirkpatrick. So I'm actually, we haven't spent that much time talking about special teams, so here we are. I'm actually pretty excited about special teams. I think they're going to be good this year. You get George Odom, All-Pro gunner, Oren Burks, special team standout, also linebacker savant. So Dante Johnson, of course, he can play outside corner, inside corner, and safety, but he's a key special teamer. So that's good news. I think that all works out. Uh-oh. Steven says Grant Cohn is the best. Kinlaw needs to sit the F down. No, he does not. No, he does not. Put some respect on my Kinlaw. Put some respect on my Kinlaw. Put some respect on my Kinlaw. My boy Javon. I got my boy Javon's back to the fullest. To the fullest, man. So, but we don't need to talk about that. But thank you for the super chat. Appreciate you. What other special team stuff do we have? We just got depth. Ray McLeod. Ray McLeod. We got a returner. Like we got a legitimate solidified returner. Legitimate solidified returner. That's nice. That we didn't remember last year. You remember the conversation going into last year? We were like, who's going to be the returner? Oh, Brandon Ayuk. Like, do we want Brandon Ayuk to like maybe, but always? And then it was like, oh, well, Mohamed Sanu. We're like, oh, Mohamed Sanu? Returner? Sure. They're like, oh, Raheem Mostert, returner. We're like, oh, Raheem Mostert. And they're like, oh, no. Travis Benjamin. We're like, Travis Benjamin, returner? I'm like, are we sure about this? Are we sure? It's like, who is the returner? Like, and then we got into the playoffs and Deebo became the returner. Like, so the 49ers, they have the key spots taken care of. They have punter, kicker, long snapper, returner, gunners, and just core guys on special teams. So the 49ers are going to win some games because of special teams next year. Book it. Book it. Remember me. The 49ers are going to win games this season because of special teams. Cannon. He was nice. He was the spark for that Green Bay game. He was the spark for that Green Bay game. So, hey, it is what it is. Anyways. What else do we want to talk about? More special teams? More special teams? We don't want to bore the people in the chat. They're falling asleep. Wake up, Marcus. Wake up. Man snoring over here. Can hear him through the screen. Wake up. It's special teams time. You ain't hyped about special teams? Come on, my guy. Come on, my guy. Wake up. Special teams is exciting. How could it not be? We're talking about long snappers. We're talking about kickers. We're talking about punters. Let's go. Exciting. Exciting. Tell them. Wake up. Which undrafted free agents making the team? Which undrafted free agent is making the team? Who's it going to be? I don't see this thing. Like the Donovan West, Poe combo, even Schluter. Like I would love for one of them to make it, but they're just so little spots. They're just so little spots. I think Colton McKivitz deserves a roster spot. I don't know if it's going to be a starting spot, but I think he deserves a spot. I don't want to let Colton McKivitz go. I don't, because if I'm the Rams and I go back to Week 18 and they put Colton McKivitz on the wire, I'm picking him up. Especially with him knowing what he knows about the 49ers and the scheme. Or if I'm Seattle, I'm picking up Colton McKivitz. If I'm the Arizona Cardinals, I'm picking up Colton McKivitz. So I feel like we got to keep Colton. He might not start. But I feel like you got to keep him. I feel like what he was able to do Week 18, step in for Trent Williams, and he's not a tackle. He's a guard. And be able to function as a left tackle against two of the elite pass rushers in the NFL in a must-win game, he bought a long leash from me. So Colton McKivitz, if you could do that, that would be nice. Nathan Dickey says Jordan Mason. I actually kind of agree with this one. You know, Justin was in here earlier. King of the Jordan Mason hive. I actually agree with this. I want West to make it, but I don't know based on depth. If Alex Mack retires, West has a much greater chance of making the roster. But if Mack stays, I don't know if West will make it. Leon O'Neal Jr., you see he got off social media after he said all that stuff about making the final 53-man roster and saying that's not even his main goal. His main goal is like rookie of the year. I saw the live that he did too about that, and I liked it. I mean, I get where he's coming from. I get it's just confidence in yourself. Obviously, when you say things like that in today's climate, people are going to check you for it, and I think that's what happened. I think I think one of the cool things about Leon O'Neal is like his vibe. He has a very strong vibe. It's very positive, very optimistic. I vibe with that. But I think when you kind of put it out there as an undrafted free agent, and you're like, oh, I'm not even worried about making the 53. I'm worried about getting rookie of the year. I think people, whatever internal pessimists of the world were like, well, buddy, slow down there, buckaroo. And then he said he's getting off social media after that. So, but I could see him making the roster. Poe, I think it will have an uphill battle making it, but would love to see him. D West, lock for sure. Donovan West, easy. Steven said, I literally just posted that super chat to rile all up. I guess mission accomplished. Feel free to post super chats whenever you want to get us riled up. I'm here for it. So, Laxdad says, follow the money. West. Hendrick says, week 18, Colton was solid as F. 100%. Pose the real sleeper. Let's see. Mason makes the practice squad. Maybe. Ooh, spicy. Going in the different direction. Going in the different direction. Not even like maybe makes the practice squad. I talk about it all the time. I think the competition for Mason is Hasty. If Mason can outperform Hasty, again, he's a bigger back, bigger body, similar skills and traits, and can do similar things. But I feel that Mason, his path to the active roster, potentially, it might not make the active because, again, they added TDP. So I would imagine they keep 4 running backs, 1 fullback. We know who the fullback is, Kyle Juszczyk. They're probably going to keep TDP, Elijah Mitchell, Jeff Wilson, Trey Sermon. So that actually might make Mason and Hasty both out. But I imagine both make the practice squad. We'll find out. We'll find out. Thank you, Mauritius, for your feedback. Thank you for giving me a chance. We don't care. We don't care. Goodbye. Appreciate you. Don't let the door hit you, my boy. This isn't ESPN. We're not here to rile you up. We're here to just talk football. So get it. It's not for everyone. This ginger beard, I know. It's acquired taste. It's an acquired taste. It's not for everyone. That's okay. and what? And what? Bye, my guy. Appreciate you. Later. Peace. See ya. Oh, what's good, Erica? Shout out Fresno, California. Wait, what? Yesterday was National Ginger Day and no one told me. Yesterday was National Ginger Day and no one told me. I am shocked and I am appalled. I am shocked and I am appalled. Wow. Couldn't believe it. Brock Purdy Hive? Brock Purdy Hive? Interesting. Interesting. I don't know if Brock Purdy's going to turn heads like that. Sudfeld, baby. Get ready for Sudfeld darts. I don't know if you guys are ready. I don't know if you're ready for the full scale of Sudfeld darts. Again, in training camp, Sudfeld was 4-string. So when we were at training camp last year, he started out as 4-string quarterback. You had Josh Rosen ahead of Nate Sudfeld last year. So Nate didn't really get a ton of run, but when he did, you could see he knows how to throw the football. So obviously beat out Josh Rosen. They cut Josh Rosen. And then now he's went from 4-string to 2nd-string. So Brock could do something. But we'll see. Nate Sudfeld, baby. Don't sleep. Do not sleep on Nate Sudfeld. So we'll see. Lake City Fresh. What's good, my boy? He says, I'm liking Womack. They said he's a PBU machine and OTAs. Him, Darquez Denard, it sounds like, and Diamador Lenore are going. It sounds like it's going to be a healthy competition right there. What is so interesting about that is they drafted Diamador Lenore. So technically, out of those 3 players, Diamador has been on the roster longer than Womack and longer than Darqueze Denard. But they picked up Darqueze Denard toward the end of the year last season. And when they picked up Darqueze Denard, they actually brought him back. And by bringing him back and the things that they've talked about Darqueze Denard, they like Darqueze Denard in that building. They really, really do. The things that they've said, the way the players have talked about Darqueze, yeah, they like him. And the fact that he came out as the starter in nickel, interesting. Very interesting. That's going to be one of the main camp battles. Who's going to take over the nickel? Very excited to see how that turns out. Very excited to see. B7D says, "Do you have a side for the Kinlaw situation, or you like me and respect both sides because Kinlaw shook hands and Cone didn't accept radio talk deals?" I don't necessarily understand the second part of it. Like you're saying you respect both sides because they met and Cone didn't take radio deals. Uh, I don't know what that means. He didn't take radio deals. The thing about Kinlaw, he literally he posted to his Instagram that meant nothing. So I side with Kinlaw. I've talked to Kinlaw. I've had Kinlaw on my show. I've actually had communications like real, not real, like face to face, but I spoke to Javon Kinlaw for a solid, 45 minutes. I've never spoken to Grant Cohn. So I know Javon Kinlaw better than I know Grant Cohn, to be perfectly honest. So I've gotten to understand who Javon is. We talked about his upbringing. We talked about his background. So I understand where he's coming from in this entire situation. And you know, uh, we can always talk about how it was done, but I don't fault him. He has every right to feel the way he feels, and it's not for no reason. It's not like he just did it out of thin air. Yeah, I don't know. I don't not like Grant either. I don't know Grant like that. I only know him through we content in the same area. I don't think I've actually had a conversation with Grant before. Brad, do you think it's Mike McGlinchey's last year on the 49ers, or does he have enough in the tank to prove the doubters wrong and get a new contract? I mean, that's it, man. That's it. That's going to be a big thing for Mike. Not only to prove that he's back, but to earn that second contract. Do I think it's possible? 100%. I know for a fact that inside that organization, they love Mike. They love Mike. Like they love Mike on you know, Joe Staley is Joe Staley, and I'm not comparing the two, but when it comes to like the internal locker room guy, they love Mike McGlinchey in that building. He was voted a captain in 2020. They love him. They love him in the building. They love the person. So if McGlinchey can come back and show and prove to the world that one, he's healthy, and again continues the process of getting better, because before he got hurt, he got a lot better. He was able to attack the technical issues that he was having. He was better for it, and he did a pretty damn good job before he went down. But I think it's going to just take him to prove. Like he's going to have to put together 17 games. He's going to have to put together 17 games. And if he can put together 17 games at a high level, I imagine he'll get a contract. Even if you put together 17 games and, maybe struggled early and then came on late, I think the 49ers would resign him. Is it going to be a like max contract? Probably not, but I think they would resign McGlinchey to a very reasonable deal. Um, so yeah, it could be his last year, but I think everyone knows that, uh, himself included. He understands. This is a contract year, and coming off of injury, so I think he understands that he's probably going to have to come out. He's going to have to perform, show that he's healthy, be available, and if he can do those things, then yeah, I don't think they would have any problem bringing McGlinchey back. Uh, but those things have to, I think, happen first, before we can really, be thinking about those types of things. But good question. Good question. Jesse Wade said, "Can we all admit that Trey has that it vibe to him? His work ethic matches his talent, and his energy matches them both." That's the thing about Trey, man. He's so wise. He just feels wise beyond his years. Again, I got to be around Trey for a little bit. When we when I went to the Trent Williams documentary premiere, the entire offensive line was there. Uh, Trey Lance showed up. Sudfeld was there. I think Jeff Wilson was there. Hasty was there. Josh Norman showed up. A lot of players showed up, and I was right there mixing in with all of them. I was actually doing a lot of video stuff, grabbing a lot of video. Uh, he doesn't feel like when you see Trey kind of out in his element, he doesn't feel like it. Again, I reference him as a kid because I'm old now, which I'm sure he would hate and probably thinks is annoying. And I could imagine because I hated when people reference me as a kid when I was like 22 years old. But he has a presence about himself. He just cool, calm, collected. And I would imagine he's like that a lot. And the more the confidence builds, he's only going to be better and improve for it. So I think the biggest thing is again, believe in the guy and let him grow and develop into what he can be. Because again, if this is the floor, the ceiling could be very high. And just to keep reminding ourselves that we're going to give him the opportunity to grow and develop throughout the whole situation. So I agree with you, man. I agree. Let's see. Uh, Catching up on the chat. Let's see. Catching up on the chat. So I guess Aziz had shoulder surgery. I guess he had a little bit of cleanup. But we'll see. I'm here for this. 100%. I'm here for this. If we get because Mike last year, he showed up to camp looking thick. That's a thick ass boy. Like Mike McGlinchey showed up looking real thick in all the good ways. In all the good ways. He looked really nice. Really like the way he was moving. Again, D Ford was actually playing pretty well at a certain point in training camp. And you got to see Mike versus D Ford. D was looking quick. D was looking fast. And we got to watch D Ford going against Mike McGlinchey back in training camp, and it was like, oh wow! I was like, all right, Mike. Like, not only is he showing up looking big, looking thick, but he was looking snappy. And a lot of the things that we looked at in regards to issues with his pass step, things like that, not having a super wide base, was bringing his feet together, which would kind of elevate his pad level, and it made it easy to get under you, change the leverage, get him off balance. That was his biggest thing. That was it. That was it. Uh, in regards to his big issue with pass blocking. It was balance. It was bringing his feet together. It was having a strong wide base, sinking the hips in his pass set to create the balance. Those were those. That was it, and that was the main cause of issues for everything. Because when he brought his feet together, people would punch, and then he would lose all the balance. So I'm pretty excited for it. Uh, Let's see. Brad, you do film breakdowns, right? I do. I'll be the guy in the chat asking Mike McGlinchey questions. I like it. I'm glad we got someone on the Mike McGlinchey train. It's nice to see. I'm actually thinking about doing a Trey Lance breakdown. I've been itching. So maybe tomorrow, maybe Friday, we'll do a little Trey Lance film breakdown for the culture. Uh, we haven't done it in a while. Uh, just rehash it up, go over the old notes, pull up the old film, run through, see the things we like, see the things we don't like. Maybe, but yeah, we could. I could definitely do some film breakdowns. Uh, that would be fun. We haven't done it in a while. And again, just go into the old notes. I'll just pull up my old notes. We'll go through the clips, it'll be like watching it brand new again because I'm gonna be like, what did my notes say? Well, all right, let's pull up the clip, see what happens. So we could definitely do that. Definitely do that. Um, Seems like most of the questions are now Hufanga Denard, but who's starting right guard more? Uh, I would have to say, I would have to say, it's got to be Brunskill. But again, I don't know what's going on with center. I don't know what's going on with center. So we got to figure it out. We got to figure it out. Uh, I would say Brunskill at right guard until we know otherwise. Until we hear about Alex Mack, I'm going to go ahead and say it's going to be Brunskill, and then we'll figure out what happens from there. Let's see. Bryant Colt says, I like multiple Niners channels. I like Brad's show. My wife seen me watching his show so much, she got me a residency hat. Let's go, Bryant. Get that residency hat. We see you. Shout out the wife, man. You got an intuitive wife. That's awesome. She said, ooh, where'd he get that hat? I'm gonna get my guy one. You love to see it. And 100% win wife. W. W for the wifey. You love to see it, man. You love to see it. That's nice. You got a real one for you right there, Bryant. Shout out your wife. Like, you got a real one. Make sure, take care of her. That's a W. Look at all the W's in the chat. All my guys jealous. They're like, man, I wish my wife bought me a residency hat. Let's go. Shout out wifey. Shout out wifey. Oh, wife. Wife. Look at all the W's. Let's go. Let's go. My girlfriend hates football. Hey, it's been a journey for my wife. It's been a journey for my wife. She's getting there. She's getting there. She's definitely getting there. She's definitely getting there. Yeah, I got my Rice jersey. Shout out the wife. Wife got me the wife jersey. Gmo says my wife's an MD, doing good here. Oh, he said, "Wish y'all the best." Oh, look at my guy flexing on us. Oh, sorry, Gmo. Sorry. He's just kicking back. He's like, my wife's an MD. She makes 3 times what I make, but I don't care. Let's go. Shout out all the wifeys, man. Oh, dude. Completely off topic, but that whole situation, bro, this is like if you want like a definition of what a narcissist is, like just watch this woman talk. Like you want to figure out like people who don't take accountability for themselves, people who talk circles around things that they should be accountable for. Like you want to like understand what a narcissist is, watch that. She's crazy. She's crazy. She's absolutely nuts. Just nuts. I cannot stand her the way she answers questions. Like they ask her the question, she makes eye contact, and then she goes, and then responds to the jerk. Completely off topic. Completely off topic. But she's a wild one. That's a grade A narcissist. If you've ever seen one. We got a lot of narcissists running around these parts too. So keep an eye out on those narcissists, man. They're out there. Oh, they're out there, and they're right there in the open, and they're letting you know they're a narcissist. People don't know what narcissists are, so sometimes they're not able to identify the narcissist when they see one. But we got some narcissists in our category of content creation. But that was a funny situation, man. That was a funny situation. She's crazy. None of our wives are like that, hopefully. Shout out all our wives, man. Shout out all our girls. Hopefully they're not like that. But it's what a wild ride. What a wild ride. We could probably go like another 20 minutes talking just about that trial. It's how crazy it is. I know you guys probably know what it is. You've been watching it. It's impossible not to like catch any glimpse of that. But it's crazy, man. Absolutely crazy. But let's call it there. Let's call it there. We'll be back tomorrow. Like I said, I don't know if we're gonna get anything. Oh, oh, ooh. Pray for my boy. Pray for my boy. Pray for my boy. I'm feeling for you, man. Feeling for you. So maybe come back tomorrow with yep. See, that's how you know. I'm like, all right, it's time to go. It's time to go. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Let's do film breakdown. Let's watch some football. Let's start integrating some football back in. I kind of want to watch a little Trey Lance. So maybe we'll come back. We'll do that tomorrow. Maybe we could do I might want to do Houston. Houston was a nicer game. Then the Cardinals, and we could work our way back from Houston. So see you guys tomorrow, probably around 1:30. Probably about 1:30. Hair flow tomorrow. Maybe. Appreciate everyone. Appreciate all the vibes. Shout out SDS. Appreciate my haters watching me right now. We know you're watching. Kisses. Shout out to all my haters. Shout out to the SDS, though, above all, because the SDS is undefeated. Best group on YouTube. You cannot argue with me otherwise. We're still small, we're still growing, but soon we are going to take over the world. Bread Gang unite no matter what. Appreciate the squad. I will see you guys tomorrow. Because you know what? Like yeast, we rise, baby. Let's go, Bread Gang.